So
Ooh-wee.
when you have a relationship with someone, but you have a connection with someone from your past, how do you set those boundaries where you do not find yourself in an emotional affair with someone? To me, which is far worse than a physical affair, just to put that out there.
It is far worse. It really is. So I know someone who just really I cannot close doors. So I know a person who, when he dates people, and he's not really had any substantial long-term relationships, and that, I guess, long-term can be subjective because I was married for almost 3 decades, but he really is a terrible relationship person. And the reason why is because he has emotional affairs with a lot of different people.
At the
and
same
I've tried,
time?
yeah, and I've tried to tell him that. And I was like, this is the reason why it's not working out for you, because you don't close doors.
Yeah.
You want to keep all the doors open to anybody you've ever dated. And so he told me about a college friend. Long story short, she was a woman who was his dearest friend in school, and she stopped speaking to him when she got married, even though
Okay.
he attended the wedding and he's never dated her before.
She set some boundaries.
She set boundaries. And I know from experience, I know that was one of the problems that I encountered in my marriage, with just like boundary setting. And I won't speak too much on that, just out of respect for my children and my ex-husband, but people who don't set boundaries in their personal lives, I mean, we can talk about professional lives, but really we're talking about personal lives, are going to have problems. It's just, when a relationship is over, you have to sever the ties.
I have a friend who had a very similar issue, and he told me the reason why he didn't close doors. He said because he likes to know that he's being thought about throughout the day by multiple people.
Oh, that's pretty narcissistic.
But it was something that he acknowledged about himself.
Very
that
me
brought
by
him
me. So that's very.
That brought him joy. Unfortunately, he's married, but he needs that attention, whether it's in your face, just on the phone, social media, just to know that he's being thought about.
Sounds like he needs the.
It sounds like some insecurity there for me, is what I
Well,
hear.
narcissists are insecure.
Yeah.
And that sounds like narcissistic supply. He feeds off of that. It gives him strength.
There's a danger in there with the emotional affair in this respect, and most men have done this successfully. When they stopped playing sports, they started coaching because they wanted to stay around the game. And then at some point, they were allowed to get back into the game. And I've watched a lot of professional sports. I don't ever remember them asking a coach to suit up and get in the game that night. But a man has done this, and they stood around and they got back in the game. They wanted to do that. It was what it was. And to me, it's a very defeating thing, because the woman already was going to put you back in the game. To me, in my opinion, you stood there and you hung out, and she did what she was ultimately going to do, if she was ever going to do it. And so within that, guys hang out for that reason, or I've seen it where some guys do hang out for that reason, and they want to stay connected to that person because they think that they're going to get a chance to come back in the game and play.
But whose job is it to set the boundaries?
It's definitely the man, but it's both of theirs. I mean, if you are no longer in a relationship with the person.
I mean, if you're both single and you're not in a relationship, you can do whatever the heck you want to do. But if you are in a relationship, a committed relationship, a monogamous relationship, you should be able to set boundaries to say, hey, we have a past. I cannot entertain you in that capacity. When we do talk, we can't just be talking about what we did together, because now we're crossing lines again. We're talking about intimate moments. And that is disrespectful to my relationship, to my person now. And if you can't do that, you know what I mean, then you really should not be in a committed relationship.
I
Have all your damn doors
I agree
open.
with you, and I do think that it is the responsibility of the person in a relationship to tell this person that they're not in a relationship with that, hey, there are boundaries here. We cannot do this.
What if that person lies and says, I'm not in a relationship, because they're trying to keep that door open for the ex? They still want to have this emotional attachment.
Well, then if they
So
lie,
they lie,
Get rid of
they
him,
lie
right,
and
or her
deny
quickly.
They deny the person that they are reported to be in a relationship with. They lie about it.
If they lie, then that's a telltale sign.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's you should let that person go be great somewhere else.
Right.
Let me
Be
ask this
mediocre.
question though. If we take it to a different entity of life, work relationships, can there be an emotional affair that you're having, not physical, emotional affair that you're having with a coworker, and you know your wife is just oblivious to this whole thing?
Well, so this is my thought. If you are sending messages or text messages that you have to hide or delete, that's an emotional affair right there. Because if I'm texting someone
That's
and my
almost
man,
cheating.
and my man
Yeah.
sits down next to me, I don't feel like I need to close out and hurry up. You know, if
Yeah.
I'm texting you or whatever, or anybody, I don't feel like I
Right.
need to, because he comes and sits down. You know,
It means it's inappropriate.
right? And I
and
don't
it
feel like
shouldn't be
he's gonna be
happening.
in my phone, but I don't feel like I need to hide.
Exactly.
You know, I
Exactly.
just don't. My phone doesn't even lock. It really doesn't, and until I press the button, because I don't have anything to
You
hide.
don't have anything to hide.
Well,
I think that that's a huge part of it, but I understand how the work emotional affair happens. I mean, I enjoy cooking. I cook every day. I hate to eat out when I go to work. And I've had times where, man, I'll bring this person something to eat every time that I cook.
Is it the same person that
Yes.
you're doing this for?
It can
or
be.
multiple people?
It can be.
Is it though?
It has been.
Okay, you're skating around my question. Is this a real emotional
that's what
It
they
wasn't-
do.
affair?
let me
I
say
know, I
this.
feel like
That's
I'm
what they do.
playing 20
Let-
questions
let-
here.
Those people.
Those people.
Guilty. But it wasn't an emotional affair because I didn't see that person in that way. And we didn't have any communication outside of food. But we ate lunch every day. If I made some for me, I made some for that person.
You didn't have any communication outside of food. So you would text and say, "Hey, what do you want to eat today?"
No, I mean, we worked together, so we worked kind of in the same area. And it was like at lunch, we took lunch at the same time. Like, hey, I made this, or we're going here, we're going this place for lunch.
Was
or
this
whatever.
person in a relationship?
Absolutely.
A committed one?
Absolutely.
A marriage?
At one time, there was one that was, and at one time, there was one that wasn't.
And so did their spouse know that you were cooking for them every day?
In the case of the spouse did know. In the case of the boyfriend did not.
The spouse knew every day that you were cooking for his wife.
Absolutely.
Well, then I would say that that's not an emotional affair.
Neither do I. Neither do I then. If he's
in
fully
total-
on board with it.
That
Right.
just sounds like a friendship.
It was a very good friendship, and in total transparency, there was no, on my part, there was no need to take anything beyond where it was. I respected her as a friend, and there was not a relationship part that I sought for or that I even wanted. Not that she wasn't, a desirable person. I knew better than that wasn't for me.
And what about the other one? The one that the person didn't know about?
Definitely. I mean, I liked her a
Look,
lot.
your voice even got real deep.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely, I like her.
yeah, I did. I mean, I no, because I mean, I did. I really.
So
liked her.
you were stepping all over the line on purpose.
I don't think that I had intent in that sense. I think that I had intent because I knew that it wasn't right.
Stomping with boots.
And did you do that because you thought you had a shot? Was there a signal that you said, you know what, if I keep doing this, I'm going to get this result. I'm going to.
I don't think that I was feeding her, so to speak, for the purpose of to take it any further. But I enjoyed the camaraderie that we had. I enjoyed the time that we did get to spend together. I enjoyed our conversations.
But you knew she had a person.
Yes.
And did the person know that you were cooking for her every day?
Not at all.
Okay. and she wasn't divulging that information.
Not to him,
No.
no.
So that's cheating. Is
Yeah.
what I'm gonna call it. That's
It is.
cheating. You're
It's
doing.
cheating.
You're having a whole, relationship with someone that
It's
this person
cheating.
doesn't even know exists.
We're not judging. We're just
Yeah.
just for point of clarification. It's just
No, but I mean, in the case that the case that we're talking about now, I did like the person,
Yeah.
okay.
and there was, there
So
was.
you were wooing her with food.
I mean, I was doing what I was normally doing, but it just so happened that she got to eat and we got to talk, and
She got an extra little serving of gravy on that.
Right,
pork chop.
exactly.
got a little parsley up on top. No, it wasn't that. It was more of I was going to eat anyway. She enjoyed eating as much as I enjoyed feeding her, and we got to be very good friends. We never crossed the lines, thankfully, but it was definitely a situation like, wow.
Okay. But you do recognize that it was cheating or no?
I didn't recognize it in that time and space.
But then
But definitely
But now,
now
rather?
to look at it and to understand, and again, this is 30-year-old me
oh, okay.
versus
I'm still waiting to hear it, but now, yes. Did I get it?
Yes, I'm getting to
Okay.
that.
All right.
Let me go ahead and put that out there. Yes, I realized that it was wrong.
Okay.
I feel bad, and I shouldn't have done it, and I would not do it the same way again, knowing what I know now.
Growth.
Okay, 30-year-old Gary versus 50-something-year-old Gary.